topics. As we were previously doing different type of glands and hormones, our upcoming topic is thyroid gland. As an exam learning outcome, we need to know the structure and the exact location of this gland. Thyroid gland is present at the base of the neck. We can literally feel it. If we touch our neck, we can literally feel it. Okay. If we observe this diagram, then we can see this is the portion of a voice box, and this is the trachea. Below the voice box and on the surface of the trachea, we can feel the thyroid gland. From the shape, it appears to be a butterfly-like structure. This is the front view because we are observing the trachea from the front side. Okay. Then the next thing we need to understand that this thyroid gland is actually producing actually it is producing three different type of hormone. On this slide only two of them are mentioned. 90% of its secretion are T4 hormone and 10% of it is T3 hormone. We are going to learn the individual function of each of them. In general, the secretion of thyroid gland, they are associated with growth and maturation of the tissues. It is involved in the process of cell metabolism and heat production. When the cell are respiring actively, so heat is produced. And when the cell is respiring, definitely oxygen is going to be consumed. This hormone, as it is linked with the growth process, so it is ultimately associated with development of uh, bones, like that how the bones will enlarge, and it is also linked with development of brain and nervous system. It helps to regulate the normal blood pressure, heart rate, digestion, muscle tone, and the major reproductive function. So when we think of the case studies related to hormonal imbalance, so if we come across some person uh, who have poor muscular tone, or there is some issue with the reproductive organs function, so in that case, just to uh, negate the idea that whether the person has a thyroid problem, the doctor suggests to go and have a checkup of thyroid gland hormone secretion. Okay, this is another view of thyroid gland. This is the front view and this is the back view. Now, if you observe, if you look closely, so if you look closely, then you can observe. If you look closely, you can observe there are some nodules like a structure. These are basically parathyroid gland. Very close to the thyroid gland, there are two oval bodies that are embedded, and these are basically the parathyroid gland. Okay. Now, regarding the secretion of thyroid gland, regarding the secretion of thyroid gland, it produces three different type of hormone: thyroxine T4, triiodothyroxine T3. Basically, as we discussed, that T4 is produced in the largest quantity, and as soon T4 hormone is produced, this T4 hormone is converted into T3 hormone, that is the active form. It means that T4 is inactive form of thyroid hormone, and later on, as soon it is released, it is converted into the active form. Then this this T3 hormone, among the three secretion, T3 is the most potent, and it is the active one. And but remember, its concentration is smaller. Then the next one is calcitonin. It's another very important hormone. This hormone is basically produced by C cells within the thyroid gland, and it is linked with how does it function? That this hormone work to lower the blood calcium level by inhibiting the breakdown of bone. If you can recall the previous gland that we discussed, that once the enough amount of calcium is not present, the secretion of um, anterior adrenal gland, it causes the metabolism of the brain. But calcitonin, it prevents the breakdown of the bone. Then the next hormone we are going to discuss is the parathyroid gland secretion. This parathyroid gland, as it is embedded uh, within the thyroid gland, and if we are observing thyroid gland from the front, we cannot see it. We can observe parathyroid gland from the back view. This is the front view. I cannot see any parathyroid gland. This is the back view. I can observe parathyroid gland. Am I clearly audible and can you understand easily?
Yes.
Okay. Parathyroid gland are basically two pair of a small embedded structure. They are present on the back side of a thyroid gland. They are releasing the parathyroid hormone, and it also play a very important role in calcium regulation. It means that both um, calcitonin and parathyroid hormone. These two are working together to maintain the calcium levels in our blood. Then uh, this parathyroid hormone, we need to know the short form of each hormone. PTH, it actually signals the bone to store the calcium into the bloodstream. It makes sure that the bones are not breaking, and it increases the calcium reabsorption in the kidney. We know that kidney is serving two purposes. Number one, it is releasing anything that is excess, toxic, or metabolic waste. So once the bones are decalcifying, the calcium deposits into the blood, and if this blood is moving to the kidney, it might be considered as something extra not needed by the body. So parathyroid hormone makes sure that this calcium is not released as urine, rather it is reabsorbed from the kidney. So this is one of the very specific function of parathyroid hormone. It makes sure that this calcium is not excreted, it is retained into the body. Okay, then this parathyroid hormone, it also activates vitamin D. Remember, there are some minerals that pair up with vitamin. If that vitamin is not there, so the mineral that we are talking about, it will not be absorbed. It's not the exact example, but I'm giving you an example to understand. For example, if a person is anemic and suffering from iron deficiency, whatever the amount of iron supplement the person take, if the food is devoid of vitamin C, so the iron cannot be absorbed. In the same way, nature has created a mechanism that parathyroid hormone is not only making sure the absorption of calcium. Parallel, beside this, it is also activating vitamin D. What is the relationship of calcium and vitamin D? It's an indirect relationship. Calcium cannot be absorbed if there is not enough amount of vitamin D. So the parathyroid hormone naturally stimulating the amount of vitamin D. So the calcium is not wasted, it is reabsorbed. And active vitamin D form is uh, calciferol is the active vitamin D form. It signals the bones to it signal this calcium to be absorbed from the intestine. Okay, now remember there are two pathways from which calcium can be absorbed. Either your bone were previously demineralized and the signals are sent into the kidney for the reabsorption of calcium. This is one way. And what is the second target organ of parathyroid hormone? Parathyroid hormone activates vitamin D and it is signaling the cell within the small intestine. Within the small intestine, there are villi like structure, and the signals are sent to absorb the calcium. So, parathyroid, as an exam learning outcome, examiner might give you that what is the location of parathyroid gland, what is the name of secretion, and what are the two target organ and what are their functions. If this examiner do not bound you for the role of parathyroid hormone in the kidney or in the intestine, you can generally write any of these. Or if the examiner is very specific to the target organ, so you need to be very sure that what are you writing about. Okay. Now, adrenal gland is present at the top of the kidney. From the body atlas, if the diagram is shown, if the outside framework of the brain of the body is given, so you need to understand that below the rib cage, this is uh, below the rib cage. This is the place where abdominal region is starting, and within the abdominal region, not on the front side, on the ventral side. The front side of our body is called the dorsal side, and the place where our vertebral column is present, this is called the ventral side. On the ventral side, on either side of the kidney, we have a pair of adrenal gland that is present at the top of the kidney. Now, this adrenal gland is actually divided into two portions, the adrenal outer cortex and adrenal inner medulla. If we zoom into this diagram, and this is actually a 3D section of adrenal gland. This is 3D section of adrenal gland, and you can observe and you can witness it is present at the top of the kidney. You can see this it is divided into outer lighter color region. This is adrenal cortex. The light color region is adrenal cortex, and the inner darker region is adrenal medulla. We need to be very specific about adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Maybe from your previous knowledge you know that adrenal gland is responsible for the production of adrenaline. It is responsible for the production of adrenaline. But now we need to know that which hormones are produced from the adrenal cortex and which hormones are produced from the adrenal medulla. We just simply can't say that it produces adrenaline and playing a role in fight and flight hormone. The inner part is basically producing the hormone uh, catecholamine, and this catecholamine is actually responsible to cope the body with physical, emotional stress condition, like when we are under stress and trauma. Okay, now I have shown you the structure of adrenal gland, and now we are going to see the slide where we are going to see the distribution of the where we are going to see the distribution of different secretion produced from the adrenal gland. The adrenal cortex is responsible for the production of an important hormone that is aldosterone. It generally lets the cell to appear normal in shape. Then the second one is cortisol. This cortisol is basically associated with the fight or flight responses, and it activates our parasympathetic pathway. Let's link with what we have already studied previously. Androgen, this is a set of hormone which is responsible for the male reproductive organs activation, and it is responsible for the male secondary sexual characteristic. At the age of puberty, this hormone this hormone tend to release from the adrenal gland, and it cause the development of secondary sexual characters such as deepening of voice, the facial hairs, and the muscular mass increase. All this is under the influence of adrenal cortex. Adrenal cortex hormone, that is the androgen. Now, the next hormone of the of adrenal gland are the adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla is releasing a hormone adrenaline. It supports the body reaction to stress by increasing the heart rate. When we are under stress, this is something we need to understand. It is related to the metabolism. When we are under stress, when we are in panic state, for example, you have taken part in any role play at university, or you are doing public speaking, or you are doing any recreational activity, so at that time you require more energy. And how this more energy can be achieved? This more energy can be achieved, the life process that is responsible for to give us energy is cellular respiration. And for the process of respiration, we require two of the raw material. Not either, we need both of them. We need glucose and oxygen. When glucose and oxygen react together at cellular level, energy is released. Now we need to understand that what is the rationale reason, what is the logical reason for which the adrenaline cause the heart rate. Maybe you can recall at the time of when the exam paper are distributed, we can feel our heart is racing. We can even hear our heartbeat. Why? Because when we are under stress, when we are under fight or flight response, so at that time adrenaline is released, and that get mixed with the blood. Now, adrenaline has different target organ. In this slide, very limited target organ are mentioned. I'm going to discuss a few more of them. Okay, the meeting time is showing 4 minutes. If the meeting end, then I will be joining back like in next 4 5 minutes. So please rejoin. Okay, so adrenaline get mixed with the blood and distributed to the different target organ. Number one, it reaches to the heart. Think logically why the heart rate has to be higher when we are under stress, because I need more energy, and to get more energy I need more glucose, more oxygen. The glucose stored center in our body is the liver, and the oxygen will come from active breathing. Like if I will take deep breath or more number of breaths per minute, then I will have more oxygen. So more oxygen and more glucose um, possibility is there. But why the heart is racing, why the heart rate is increasing? The heart is beating strongly, so this glucose and oxygen is distributed very quickly to all parts of the body. And two things are happening. Not only the heart rate is increasing, like the number of beats per minute, parallel, the other thing is happening is the output per beat is increasing. Like how much volume of blood will be pumped out of the heart in 1 second. This is called the output per beat. In the same way, we need to understand the adrenaline's second target organ is the lungs. When adrenaline reaches to our lungs, it is doing two jobs. Number one, it causes the number of breaths per minute. Right now, you are not under stress, you are calm down, you are relaxed. So at in this case, maybe you are taking uh, 15 or 18 breaths per minute. But as we are under stress or panic, like you are getting late for university and you're just rushing toward the class, so at that time, whether you want or not, you require more energy to do an important chore in less time. So to acquire more energy, your rate of respiration will increase. You will take more breaths per minute. And the other thing, it is not necessary that you are taking more breaths per minute. The other effect that happens with our respiratory system, that The depth of the breath also increase. And the depth of the breath also increase. It means that the person is taking very much deep breaths and making sure that enough amount of excess amount of oxygen is available. Okay, so we learned that how adrenaline is affecting the heart and how adrenaline is affecting the lungs. Another important target organ is our liver. In our body, liver is an organ. Like, for example, I had my dinner, and the amount of starchy food, carbohydrate, everything we consume ultimately broken down and converted into glucose. And this glucose is either used up by the body promptly, like whatever the dinner I consumed. So the glucose produced is readily absorbed by the body cell, or if it is excess not needed by the body, so in that case, what will happen? This excess glucose will be stored in the liver as the glycogen. So when I am in emergency or panic conditions, so at that time, adrenaline will reach to my liver and